Hello and welcome. And today, in our interview that is focused on YouTubers for Zimbabweans, we are joined by Tsitsi. I had a chance to have a look at her YouTube channel, and I was amazed with the work that she has actually put through. And she's going to be sharing some nuggets with us today. So I'd love to welcome you, Tsitsi. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you very much, Kuda. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So to start off with our interview, can you please tell us who is Tsitsi and a little bit of a background about you so that our audience can get to know you?
I guess basically, I'm a Zimbabwean who has a great interest in languages and a particular interest in the Shona language, Chishona. And I know everybody's going to be like, oh, which Chishona dialect, etc. The truth of the matter is, because all of our dialects were kind of forced into this umbrella of Chishona, I'm interested in all of them. I've always been an amateur linguist, and from that just came this desire for people to know and learn the language. From wanting my nephews and nieces to be able to speak the language, children or friends being able to speak the language and not lose it, and then to just also having people who are just interested in the language and they're like, "Hey, I want to be able to learn," and thinking, "How do I manage to do that?" So I used to teach Shona after school and weekends just for fun to begin with. And then it kind of got really serious. And then after moving a few times to a few different countries, I was like, instead of just losing my students who are keen, maybe it's time to actually start a YouTube channel. So yeah.
Absolutely. So can you tell us your channel is called Speak Shona, and when did you start your channel?
I started the channel in 2021. And Speak Shona, I just wanted something that had a little bit of alliteration. So it was like, should I put learn Shona? And then there's like I learn Korean and there's like talk to me in Korean. So should I make it talk to me in Shona? Those kind of things. But I think I landed on Speak Shona just because of the way that it had the slight alliteration to it. And I was like, that's something that people actually want to focus on. When they learn a language, they want to be able to speak it, which is how
Absolutely.
it just came about. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about your audience. You are a Zimbabwean based in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And who is your audience at the moment in terms of people that wants to speak Shona? Who turns out to say, I need to learn the language?
The majority of my viewers are actually African, primarily Zimbabwe, South Africa, Zambia, Sub-Saharan Africa,
Hmm.
then followed by the UK, the US, and Canada. So where we know a large diaspora of Zimbabweans are, that's where we'll tend to find learners. And then when it comes to those who are not of like Shona descent or Shona heritage speakers, we have a lot of Europeans who are just interested in the language off the bat. So we tend to get those from Germany, Switzerland, Sweden, kind of stuff. So yeah.
Absolutely, you kind of have a global audience. Is that so?
Yes, it's very much a global audience. Heavy
Um,
on the African aspect, but a global audience, yes.
Amazing. So now, let's talk about your challenges when you started your channel in 2021. What sort of challenges did you face and how did you overcome them?
So I'm not so much shy as in coming in front of the camera, but editing and hearing my voice and all of that. For instance, just like the first time you see yourself on camera, you're like, oh, that's not
Did
how
I
I
say
want to
that?
come
Yeah, I
across.
understand.
So that I think for me, it wasn't necessarily, it was just something that I realized that I had to get used to hearing myself in order to be able to edit myself. Editing is still a challenge to this day. I don't enjoy it, but you
Mhm.
have to do it. I've tried to find editors, but they're either super, super expensive. I can't afford them when they're really good, or the few that might have worked with me before just have not managed to, we haven't managed to get to much of anything. So that's been unfortunate, but I'm still looking. I'm still looking for an editor so that I don't have to do the stuff I don't like so much. Um, Starting a channel is super easy. It's literally clicking a button on YouTube. So that was never in itself a problem. Maybe trying to figure out what people want to learn.
Yeah,
Um, I enjoy the actual creative process itself. I enjoy making of videos. I enjoy talking. I enjoy the teaching. That's never been the issue. Sometimes more it might be, oh, I have a vision and I want to bring it onto video. Bringing that vision that I have to life can be a lot harder when you just don't have the skills. So I'd always known that was going to be a long-term something to do. What I suffer from is lack of consistency. And my lack of consistency just comes down to one thing, editing. So I will tend to have videos that have not been edited. I have videos from last year that have not been edited. So the creating of videos for me has never been challenging, but the editing of videos has always been a challenge. So I'm hoping to overcome that. But
Yeah,
yeah, so
but when I looked at your channel, I didn't see any inconsistency. I was actually impressed. I mean,
I,
probably
I
something
think
that is
that's the problem in that I'm too much of a perfectionist. I'm not a perfect editor, but I
okay.
just if something doesn't look right, I will go back and work on it. So I end up spending way too long on editing. So for instance, I think there was one video that when I tried, I was like, let me actually just count the hours that it took me to edit. And it took me 47 hours to edit, spread over 2 months.
Oh,
So that's just a lot. Like you shouldn't be editing a video for that long.
I,
So that's a problem for me
yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
So
I can imagine. So let's talk about your aha moment. I understand that when you're starting a YouTube channel, you kind of have your own self-doubts. I mean, you mentioned that you're a perfectionist, and sometimes you have got a lot of data sitting on your computer, I'll edit and things like that. But now let's talk about your aha moment from the time that you started to a point where you said, wow, this is a very good payoff moment and it's worth celebrating. It could be something small that happened, or it could be something very, very big that you felt like this is amazing.
I don't think I've had aha moments as yet for the channel. I'm amazed that people watch them. Like, I think from the very get-go, I've always been lucky in that my growth has been very steady. I didn't really have like anything that was super viral from the beginning and like whatever the case may be. It's always just been very steady. I put out a video and you get a few people and they subscribe, and then you put out another video, a few more people subscribe. So it's always been super, super steady. I think this year for me
Mhm.
has cemented the need to find an editor in I didn't do much when it came to posting this year. I posted minimally, like badly minimally. I think long form videos, I think I've only posted three. And yet I've continuously had people sign on. So for me, I guess this year, if you want to call it an aha, in that, people are actually looking for this content. I'm not producing it, but people are actually looking for this content. So as of October, I decided let me try and do the short form just because short form is easier to edit. It's quicker to edit. And for the first time, I went onto TikTok with the
Okay.
short form, and that actually really kind of went pretty good. And so in that, because I was like, I need to overcome this lack of editing skills and lack of editing time because I work as well. And as a result, you just don't have enough time to do this. So like, how do I overcome this? And so I decided to do the short form. And in that, it really made me realize that editing can be simpler.
Yeah.
And I need to just learn how to do that, which has been the focus. My December has really been doing that. So I'm hoping that when January comes, I can actually put those skills now to task and to work and actually be a bit more consistent. When I began, I'm one of those people who are very super systematic. I make a plan. So when I made my plan, the first thing I had to learn was what what is framing, So I'll go online, figure out, okay, people say when you're doing talking head educational type videos, this is what you want to be focusing on. So I'll be like, okay, cool. Let me try one. Let's see how that comes out. Okay, I'm not too happy with that. Now let's do the next one. So because I'm very systematic like that, I wasn't expecting big wins from the beginning.
Okay.
Everything kind of happened according to plan. The only thing that has not happened according to plan is being consistent, is making sure that, because I've always wanted to, at the very least, have one video out every week. That has never happened.
Oh, I see.
That has never happened. And it's still a dream of mine that I'll be able to do that. I mean, I film enough to be able to do that. I just don't edit fast enough to be able to do that. So I'm hoping that soon I will get to that. So I'm now at the point where I'm like, okay, cool. We've managed to do the shorts. I did that for October and part of November, and I was like, okay, I think I've won. And this month I've been really learning how to use DaVinci Resolve a lot, the month of December, and how to be quicker in my edits and just get better at that craft because it's a skill I've had to learn. And especially this holiday season, that's all I'm doing. This holiday season is just DaVinci editing, learning, and that's really it. And I'm hoping that when January comes, I'll be able to get out 2 videos a month to begin with, the long form ones, and keep my shorts to at least 2 a week. So I'm hoping if I can get to that cadence and then I do February, March, if I've hit that cadence and been consistent for those 3 months, then maybe I'll be able to bump it up. But even if I never bump it up and just keep it at that cadence till the end of the year, that's a lot more that I would have done for 2025. So,
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. So now, you know what? When I was actually looking at your YouTube channel, I saw you integrated your YouTube channel with your website. I was on your
Mm-hmm.
website and I clicked a few, quite a number of buttons actually, and I'm impressed with how you've integrated your work and your website. Can you tell someone who is in Zimbabwe the importance of integrating your YouTube channel with other external platforms? Primarily, right now, I want to talk about your website. And you can
About
also
my website.
share what your website name so that our audience can also visit your website name as well.
Cool. My website is called speakshona.com. And the main reason I created my website, I remember a couple of years back, people were just like, sometimes it's harder to find information. So when they find information, you want to create that presence, that authority online, then you want a place where everybody can find everything that you have. The website is actually currently under revamping. So there's some sections that are missing that used to be there, but I'm re-adding them hopefully again, like I said, in the new year. And for me, it's because I want it to become, I call it Speak Shauna, but there's a part of it, a community part called the Shaunaverse. And I want it to be a place where anybody can come and find everything Shauna. So be able to find stories that are written in Shauna, be able to find other people who are learning Shauna, find those videos, find audios. And so because that's the vision, we're definitely not there yet, because that's the vision, I needed a place where I could slowly but surely add them on and add to it. So that's exactly how it came about. It's like, hey, I need a place where I am building. So I work in the IT space, and one of the things that we like to talk about is having a minimum viable product. And so for
Mhm.
me, it was just, I need a minimum viable product that I can keep iterating and adding on to. And that's exactly the philosophy that I have with Shauna right now is start something, see how it is, add on to it, and hopefully 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, there'll be so much information there that anybody who says, I want to learn Shona, it will be like one of the resources that anybody off the top of their head will be like, have you gone to the Speak Shona website? And if they're
Yeah.
there, then they can hopefully link, like you said, to everything. And not just myself. I totally believe that the way that we can spread a language a lot is when more people are interested in it, and more people get interested in it if more people are teaching it. So I'm not interested in only just myself doing the teaching. I'm interested in other people doing the teaching and then linking us together so that people will be just like, hey, I want to learn about this. And language doesn't just come with the words, the speech, and the vocabulary. It comes
Yeah.
with a culture. It comes
Mhm.
with meaning. It comes with depth of a people and what makes them that type of people. So for me, the Vashona culture is super, super important. And I'm hoping that the website also then becomes a hub for that, for beginning to share
Amazing. I was actually
Shona culture.
impressed with your website and how you've actually put the cards and some of the information. Like you're saying, people will be able to get the information from one central place, which is really because I got your website from your YouTube channel. I was like, okay, this is amazing. Now let us talk about some of the different platforms that you use. You previously mentioned about TikTok, how you
Mm-hmm.
cut some of your PCs on TikTok and put them on TikTok. Why are you doing that? What's the strategy behind that? What are you hoping to achieve?
The strategy was very simple.
Yeah.
Consistency. That's the only thing I'm trying to get to because for most YouTubers, YouTube
Hmm.
is a long game. It's not short. And you will see that people with skin in the game, the people who win in the social media type game are those who are consistent, who post consistently and post on a regular cadence. So because I had already seen like when the year came to half a year and I was like looking at my goals that I'd written down because I write down like what I'm wanting goals for Speak Shona itself at the beginning of the year. And I was like, I'm not winning. And why am I not winning? And I was like, the main reason is that there's this big barrier for me, like a lot of friction when it comes to editing. And I was now trying to figure out how do I remove a lot of that barriers. So I went through my whole process and I was like, okay, I sit down, I put on all of my lights, I film myself, and then I have to
Mhm.
take the SD card out, move it to my computer, and then I edit. And it's like, you know what? What about if I dumped all of those steps and I just used my phone and I recorded myself on my phone and I edited on my phone and I put it out? That means I'm taking out a lot of steps and I'm making it short. So even if it's a 3 minute clip, there is no way you're going to spend an hour or more, like 2 hours editing a 3 minute clip. So if you film something short and you edit it fast, also maybe half an hour and send it out, will that actually mean you can be a bit more consistent? So because I
Absolutely.
was looking for that consistency, that's when I was like, if I'm going to be sending out short form, yes, I have a YouTube channel because my YouTube channel only had the long form at that point in time in October. And I was like, if I start putting out short form, I know that people always have this query of does you if you do long form and you now do YouTube shorts, does that affect your algorithm sense and like finding your avatar that YouTube is pushing out to? And I was really interested, like, you know what, if I'm on this platform, there's other people who are not on YouTube that much. If I'm going to be posting the short form, let me try all the other platforms as well. So then I decided I was going to do Instagram as well as Facebook as well as TikTok at the same time and just begin to see if I could be consistent. So because of trying to be consistent, literally as of October this year, 2025, that's when I decided to do a lot of the short form stuff and just slowly but surely get out there. And because I bulk filmed a lot of my stuff in one go, like I just sat down one afternoon and I bulk filmed it, I could slowly but surely edit and send out. And that worked for me. And I was like, I could actually begin to see some of that consistency. Then work got very busy and I didn't manage to film a bit more, but at least I now have a good sense of what consistency means. And because now I've been really practicing my editing, I also found that I really hate editing on the phone. So that also became a friction point. And I was like, that's how I ended up realizing I just need to become good at what I do. I need to become
Amazing.
good at editing so that it's not slow. Because when you're good at something, it doesn't create a lot of that friction, a lot of that I don't want to do it, which is what is happening now with my edits because they take so long. And so I was like, if you're really good at it, you don't dread it. It's the same thing with anything. If you're practicing a sport, if you're practicing in the gym, the moment you get good at it, it also gets fun. If you're practicing a musical instrument, you get good at it, it gets fun. So with that mentality, I was like, I'm going to use December to get good at editing so that it becomes fun, so that I can do it more and become more consistent, the same way that I was in my October, November period with the shorts. So that's kind of the game plan, really.
Amazing. So now, let's talk about, is YouTube worth it? I mean, looking at your journey and how far you have gone so far, looking from when you started and up to now.
Mm-hmm.
So we may look at the money that you have made out of it. We may also look at the angle of the journey that you have actually moved. So sometimes when I looked sometimes when I look at myself, the journey that I've moved, sometimes I feel like, wow, this journey has been really rewarding. It was worth it. Would you say YouTube is worth it, and why?
I guess it depends what you call worth, what you're going to be putting value on.
Yeah.
It had definitely has not been worth it in a monetary sense because I think I've only made about $400 on YouTube. I'm not in a money making niche. Um, for me, the reward is in the language and my culture being better known. Um, as a result of that, that has been a bit rewarding. When it comes to learning skills, I have very much a learning and a growth mindset. So I like to say my superpower and my hobby is to learn stuff. So in that sense, I've definitely learned a lot. I mean, when it comes to like now what I now know about lighting, what I now know about framing, about color grading, about sound engineering, that is stuff that I did not know 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So in that instance, when it comes to skill building, yes, it's definitely been fun in that. I love to create and I love to build. So in that sense, it's definitely been rewarding. But in the monetary sense, no, maybe one day I'll have a viral video and it will pay for itself. But for now, definitely not. It's more a place I've put money into than gotten money out of.
Yeah, so the thing is, one thing like you said, that YouTube is a long game.
Mm.
So I think that sometimes the reward of money comes in on a later stage, because one thing that I can tell you is that, once you create a video that goes onto YouTube, it stays there for a very long time. And again, you're creating something that will pay you on a later stage. But anyway, moving forward, someone who is in Zimbabwe right now and they're on the fence and they're thinking that, okay, creating a YouTube channel is something that I might not do because of XYZ reason.
Mhm.
What would you say they're missing out?
Um, just like everything is not for everyone, I would
Yeah.
say it might not be for you, but you will only know if it's not for you if you've tried it. So, because it gives you, like you said, like greater skills, wider audience, and can be very fulfilling in its creativeness by itself, I would tell people try it out. You never know until you've tried it if it's something for you and if you will enjoy it. Um, the only reason maybe you might never start YouTube is if you no, there's like they like if you go like, oh, I don't want to be seen. There's ways you can have faceless YouTube channel. If you're saying I don't want to use my voice, AI now allows you to not use your voice. So there's like in those aspects, there's really no reason. If you're like, I don't want to be part of social media as a whole for whatever moral reasons, then yes, maybe you might not do it. But as a whole, I would say everybody has to try it at least once, and then you will see if it's something that clicks with you. Um, if it clicks with your inner being, with who you are at your core, if it clicks with your creativity path, because we all have creativity within us, but how we express that creativity can come out very differently. So I tend to find that people have lost and left their creativity in their childhoods, and YouTube sometimes allows people to bring that out. YouTube is also a great way to document your life. And I find that I, even just through Speak Shona, it's not a vlog per se, but I can see my growth from my very first video to now. And that's like a massive change. And so because I can see that, it's a way of a documentary. And that's really good. And I'm also always feeling that the more Shona content that's out there, the more importance that the language can get. So for me, if you want to start something and speak in Shona, definitely do it so that the body of language that's in Shona is out there. So I see no downsides to starting a YouTube channel because
Mhm.
you try it out. And if it doesn't work out, it didn't work out. And no, nothing is lost from that.
Amazing. So yeah, the thing is, I've been doing a lot of interviews with a lot of YouTubers that are Zimbabweans, and most of them believe that, whatever we are doing now is going to pay off in the future because they see the growth, especially with the adoption of internet in terms of more people that are getting online for solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, talk about, in as much as you believe that $400 is a bit little, probably you're comparing it to what you've invested into the project.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you that some people have not even gone that far. How
Yeah.
have you been getting those clients that would say they would part ways with their money coming to you? Do those clients come from reference? Do they come from YouTube search? Do they come from Google search? How have you been getting clients that pay you money from a YouTube channel?
So I don't have anybody who pays me money for my YouTube channel. I don't have any sponsored work per se. There's a
Okay.
possibility of sponsorship coming up in the future now. Like you said, now that I've been going for a while, there's been like one or two people I've talked to, but I haven't had any of that. The 400 I'm talking about is coming from ad revenue. So from YouTube AdSense. And that's really just been you post your video and you have at least 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers, and YouTube says, hey, because people are watching your videos, we're going to pay you for this many views. So that's how I've gotten that 400 from YouTube. Um, I was already a Shauna teacher before I was doing YouTube. And from being a Shauna teacher, yes, I do get money from that, but that's not necessarily a YouTube linked anything. I might get one or two new students from YouTube, but most of them are usually from by referral. Like, hey, we know somebody who teaches Shauna and somebody's looking for a Shauna teacher. Only now that I've started the shorts again, I've had one or two people comment like on my Instagram or on my TikTok, do you give lessons? And I'll be like, yes, I do give lessons. But because I also work, I just don't have that many hours for lessons in a week. I only have very few students. And yeah, so that's always kind of been separate. Teaching Shauna as a teacher versus teaching Shauna on YouTube. Yeah, so
Oh,
from the YouTube, whenever I talk about YouTube, it's literally the YouTube AdSense. That's what I've gotten over the past year or
amazing.
so.
So now we're almost coming to the end of our interview. Is there any
Mhm.
question that you feel like you should have asked me this question? Or if you don't feel that I haven't asked you that question, is there anything that you want to kind of more give us a tip or a secret or an advice for someone who is wanting to get started with setting up a YouTube channel in Zimbabwe? What could that be?
I guess for me, I'm always going to be saying encouraging Zimbabweans and people who speak Shona online to actually be going and making more videos. There's been a bit of a blow up of skits, and that's been pretty good. And especially if they are Shona speaking skits as well, that's been very good. Um, but if you take a look at how other countries have increased their tourism revenue, how other countries now have a good positive vibe about them in the rest of the world, it's usually because you can also find content about that country and the people who are from that country online. And so I totally believe that we could create our own Zim wave of Zim culture, Zim music, Zim languages that would take the world by storm. And we can only do that when we create the content ourselves. We have inherited a colonial system, and I tend to find that people give English a preference, which I think is unfair. And I want us to come to a point where people give Shauna a preference. Um, and people don't think Shauna is inferior for whatever reason, where people are encouraging their children to learn Shauna and be bilingual and trilingual with Ndebele or even any of the other. We've got like 16 official languages. Pick one, pick two, pick three, who cares? But let's use our languages so that we don't lose our culture, we don't lose our heritage. So that's kind of where I am, is that I'm just like, the more we create and showcase who we are as Zimbabweans, as Washona, as Ndebele, then the more we can actually, be ourselves in spaces. If you take a look at it, like if you meet a person who's Muslim, there are certain things that they're not going to do. I want people to be like, oh, this person is from Zimbabwe, they're not going to do that. Or this person from Zimbabwe, they can do this. That's what I
Yeah.
want. I want people to be I want us to be associated by certain traits. Yes, it can be generalizations, but that's not a bad thing. It just means you belong to a particular group. And that's what I want and I would love to see. So I want to
Oh, amazing.
see a lot of stuff being made, films being made by Shona people about our Shona spaces and culture and Shona stories. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So yeah,
Yeah,
if you've
amazing.
got something to say,
So
share
now
it. Doesn't matter what it is.
you've shared so much amazing nuggets. I feel like I may have not asked you some questions. How can people get in touch with you, or how can they view your YouTube channel so that they can ask follow-up questions? If maybe I missed one of the questions within this interview.
But then, yeah, so definitely write a comment under any of the YouTube channels and I will see it and I will comment on it. Comment on videos on Instagram, on TikTok, Facebook, I'm not really good at, but comment there and I will see it, even if it's a couple of days late, and I will respond. I always answer any question, regardless of what type of question it is. So please definitely ask away your questions. You can visit the website and contact us via that as well. Send an email to hello@speakshona.com if you want to know more about what's going on, if you want to support, or if you are an editor and you want to
Get
edit
in
my
touch, yeah,
videos,
definitely.
let me know. So
So
that's
your
always
channel
the
is
case.
Speak Shona, yeah, and then the website is speakshona.com.
Speakshona.com, and all the handles in all the platforms are Speak Shauna. They might have an underscore or a dash in between, but Speak Shauna and you will find me.
Amazing. You know what, Tsitsi, I want to thank you so much for sharing these amazing nuggets with us, and I hope a lot of listeners have gained a lot of knowledge, and I appreciate your time and thank you so much.
No, it's been fun. Thank you. Have a good one.
Cheers.